Welcome back to Best Asian Horror Movies. I'm your host Blinky, and today we're going to be discussing 2016's The Wailing, a South Korean supernatural horror film so tragic and brutal that viewers are likely to suffer from permanent emotional damage. We're also going to be comparing the film to William Friedkin's The Exorcist and giving it our own score based on story, atmosphere, and sheer unadulterated terror. Before we begin, please hit that like and subscribe button. The Wailing, directed by Na Hong-jin, is a nearly 3-hour-long South Korean supernatural horror film, which incorporates elements from folklore and religion, as well as touches on the tragic history of the Japanese occupation of Korea. Set in a rural village plagued by mysterious deaths and violent behavior, the film follows local police officer Jong-gu as he investigates the bizarre events, which appear to be connected to a Japanese man who recently arrived in the area. Rumored to be a cause of the growing chaos, the man becomes a prime suspect, though his true role is ambiguous. Meanwhile, a mysterious woman in white is also spotted around the village, her presence linked to a supernatural force that seems to possess the villagers, turning them into violent killers. As the situation escalates, Jong-gu turns to a shaman for help, but the ritualistic efforts to cleanse the village reveal even darker forces at work. Beyond its supernatural horror elements, The Wailing touches upon themes of paranoia, fear of the unknown, and the legacy of the Japanese occupation of Korea, while also drawing subtle comparisons to the Western horror classic, The Exorcist. The mythological and supernatural elements in The Wailing are central to the film's unsettling atmosphere. From the outset, the audience is confronted with an air of mystery surrounding the strange events in the village. The film incorporates various elements of East Asian folklore, including the concept of spirits and demons that can possess humans and transform them into violent, irrational beings. In this case, the film's quote-unquote zombies. One of the most prominent figures in the film is the woman in white, who appears to be a fox-like creature from Korean folklore known as a gumiho. No, not that gumiho. What do you mean he beats Cyril? Nobody beats Cyril. When did hold on, I gotta do this video. In traditional Korean culture, a gumiho is a cunning, mystical, shape-shifting creature that can transform into a beautiful woman to trap unsuspecting men. The film plays with the idea of an evil spirit or demon that is both foreign and otherworldly, using the gumiho trope to suggest a sinister presence that infiltrates and disturbs the natural order of the village. While The Wailing is deeply rooted in Korean folklore, it also subtly engages with Korea's colonial history under Japanese occupation, which lasted from 1910 to 1945. The presence of a foreign figure in the village, particularly the mysterious Japanese man, is significant. His status as an outsider evokes a historical memory of Japanese imperialism, during which many Koreans were subjected to cultural erasure, forced labor, and violence. The film uses the foreigner's ambiguous nature to hint at the psychological and social scars left by the occupation, which still lingers in Korean culture today. Now, the motif of the foreigner is key to the film's exploration of xenophobia, fear of the unknown, and the lingering effects of colonialism. In a broader sense, the fear of the other in The Wailing can be interpreted as a reflection of Korea's complicated relationship with Japan in the post-colonial period. The Japanese man is not just a physical threat, but a symbol of Korea's unresolved colonial past. His foreignness and his connection to the violence and horror plaguing the village raises questions about how Korea's history of foreign domination continues to influence its national psyche, even in the post-colonial era. Throughout the film, Jung-gu and his partner constantly refer to him as the, well, I'm not allowed to say it, but they do not hold back on the animosity towards people from Japan.
Please refrain from using ethnic slurs.
Another significant figure in The Wailing is the shaman. Now, shamans in Korean culture are believed to have the ability to communicate with the spirit world and mediate between humans and gods or evil spirits. The film portrays the shaman as a necessary yet potentially dangerous figure who is often called upon to cleanse or expel evil spirits through rituals. However, the shaman's presence in The Wailing is obscure and vague. His demeanor and fashion sensibility make him appear to be nothing more than a snake oil salesman, seeking to extort a hysterical and vulnerable Jong-gu in his most desperate hour. I mean, seriously, look at that ponytail, what the... The complex role of the shaman highlights the tension between belief and skepticism, and the idea that supernatural intervention may not always be benevolent. Wait, seriously, when did Gumiho beat Cyril? I need to see this. Okay, real talk. That scene with the dueling rituals had my heart beating out of my fucking chest. And no, I was not stoned when I was watching this film. It's just that intense. Watching this scene filled me with dread, but also amazement, as this was really my first time experiencing cinematic horror in this form. Now, Western horror movies have become so cliche in their excessive use of jump scares and CGI monsters to the point where it's not even entertaining. The scene of the dueling rituals used its setting, emotions, blasting percussive music, and perfectly timed cuts between the shaman, the Japanese man, and Jong-gu to create a scene with so much tension, so much despair, and so much intensity that by the time it finally reaches its climax, it feels like you have too.
There was a ghost!
It's scenes like this that motivated me to make this channel. But I digress. The overarching themes of The Wailing invite comparisons to William Friedkin's The Exorcist, one of the most iconic American horror films of the 20th century. While both films explore themes of possession and the battle between good and evil, they do so in strikingly different ways. The Exorcist revolves around the possession of a young girl, Reagan, and the efforts of a Catholic priest to save her through the ritual of exorcism. The film draws heavily from Judeo-Christian traditions with its clear dichotomy of good versus evil. In contrast, The Wailing offers a more complex and morally ambiguous narrative. The battle between good and evil in The Wailing is less clear-cut, as the characters are forced to confront their own vulnerability and uncertainty in the face of the supernatural. The film's blending of mythology, shamanism, and supernatural horror suggests that evil cannot be easily identified or defeated. In conclusion, The Wailing's use of atmosphere to convey— you know what? I'm not even gonna bother. This film is a fucking masterpiece. Seriously, go watch it now. Actually, wait, look, give me like 30 seconds to finish this video and then go watch it. Here at Best Asian Horror Movies, we're going to be rating our films based on 3 criteria: story, atmosphere, and terror, with each category eligible for a maximum of 6 bloody skulls. My god, where to even begin here? To say that this film takes you on an emotional roller coaster would be a disservice. The constant subversions and twists, never knowing who the true antagonist is, watching Jong-gu descend into madness as his efforts to save his family fail, it's such brutal, frustrating storytelling. 7 bloody skulls. Excellent world building and cinematography here. The whole film is dark and depressing from start to finish. 6 bloody skulls. No CGI monsters, no cheesy jump scares, just sheer, unadulterated, blood-curdling terror. 6 bloody skulls. Go watch it. But first, please like and subscribe. Okay, thank you guys. That's it for today. See you next time.